Uh, let the Somalis decide themselves, really, not just small splinter groups. Some, of course, I'm not saying that all groups are evil. Of course, the groups that we see are politically and loaded, and also those who are on the religious side, they are religiously loaded. So what they are trying to do is they are trying to impose their will. I mean, if they are trying to impose their will, then caprice, the people will be subjects. So really, let them do it. Let them do it. Let them ask the people. If the people really decide and want the Sharia law to be imposed on them, then it's not the West business to say they need this and the like. Coming to the Pakistani issue, of course, it was the government who really, with government blessing, that in the Swat Valley, the government decided, and now they are in a predicament, I think. So that's how I think we should see the issue.
Just to add, I mean, I don't think the West sees Sharia law as a problem, in black and white brushstroke terms like that. I think you have a much more nuanced debate, and I think, as I was trying to get at in the answer to the last question, Sharia law or not is not necessarily the problem. I think there's two views in the West, whatever we mean by that, as to how we view Somalia. Number one is the key problem is terrorism. In effect, as I said, what is potentially going to come out of Somalia that's problematic, and that is connected to the issue of Sharia law only in a very tangential sense, that some extremist elements that have either trained or passed through or come out of Somalia in the past have espoused a radical agenda and been involved in criminal acts. But I don't think people should be looking at this as a problem with Sharia law per se. And then the other way of looking at the problem, as I said, is in a broader political terms. And as Peter's remark about the regional context, to go back to that, I mean, they see this as largely a political conflict that has dragged a state or the institutions of a central state down. It has also led to a humanitarian catastrophe, which is now obviously spilling across from Somalia into the wider region, and hence the problem is, how do we fix that issue of political conflict and fix the humanitarian catastrophe that's been a symptom of it? Answer: local solutions to local problems. I think if this is the way that the locals are going to best solve these political conflict issues, the humanitarian crisis that flows from it, and probably all the piracy stuff that this town has been obsessed with for the last few weeks, then this is not. I don't think the West sees it as a problem. I think British, French, German, Dutch politicians, to the extent that they're looking at Somalia, are really facing a big headache of a problem. I mean, there are clearly no easy avenues to sort of get Somalia back on its feet anytime soon and deal with all those problems. But I think this is seen as actually more of a potential solution and way forward than a problem.